Welcome to the Get Productive podcast. I am Detola Amore, your host and productivity coach. Join me as we explore powerful tips and proven strategies to boost your productivity. Hello. Welcome back. I am so excited that you are here today listening to another episode of Get Productive with Detola. This is your one-stop shop for practical productivity wisdom. And on this podcast, we show you how to embrace the flourishing, productive life you deserve. I got a lovely feedback from a lady who listened to episode 1 the other day, and it brought such a big smile to my face. This is what she said. I just listened to the first episode and I can't tell you how much I needed to hear your words today. You are so encouraging and I definitely have some action items I'm taking away, specifically taking joy breaks. I had to send this to my hubby to listen to as well. By the way, I love the intro music. It's so calming. Cheers to a successful podcast launch, and I look forward to future episodes. Oh, like I said, I had this huge smile on my face when I got this feedback. So thank you so much, dear listener, for this encouraging feedback. I am so glad that you and your husband are on this productivity journey with me. If you would like to send me a feedback, please do send it to hello@detolaamore.com. I will put my details in the show notes. Your feedback keeps me going and allows me the space to create more episodes for you. If this is your first time listening to the Get Productive podcast, welcome. I am so glad you stopped by. If this is your second, third, or maybe fifth time joining me, I appreciate you for coming back. In the previous episode, we explored the power of mastering our to-do list. And one thing I said was the to-do list is an excellent tool for gathering and organizing pending tasks. However, a to-do list is merely the first step. Today, we're going to be taking a giant leap forward to explore the genuine secret weapon of high achievers. And this is scheduling your calendar for action. This powerful strategy takes us beyond mere task management and into the realm of proactive planning and efficient execution. Do you know what a lot of successful people have in common? Their secret weapon happens to be their schedule. They happen to schedule their tasks rather than relying just on their to-do list. Here's the truth. What gets scheduled gets done. I'll say that again. What gets scheduled gets done. While to-do lists are great for capturing tasks, they can sometimes lack structure and prioritization. A schedule instead turns those ideas into actionable steps. It is the bridge between intention and execution. According to a Huffington Post article, researcher Kevin Cruz studied the habits of over 200 high achievers, billionaires, Olympians, entrepreneurs, and guess what? He found that very few relied heavily on their to-do lists. Instead, they managed their calendars better. To schedule your task on a calendar, you can use a concept called timeboxing. Now, I introduced this concept in episode 3, and you might hear me refer to it in various episodes as it is such a game changer. Timeboxing involves allocating specific time slots for specific tasks, promoting focused work and minimizing distractions. I want you to think of time boxing as a fixed time, adjust scope concept. I'm slowing down a bit so you can follow me. So, fix time, adjust scope. And what you do here is you allocate a specific time slot and work within that time frame, adjusting your work scope if necessary. For example, you could say you'll schedule 30 minutes for checking emails, focusing solely on that task. This is far better than the alternative, fix scope, adjust time. And this is where you work on a task until it's done. throwing more and more time at it with no clear end in sight. And this is a recipe for procrastination and missed deadlines. Fixing the scope and adjusting the time can lead to poor prioritization because without pre-allocated time, urgent tasks can derail your plans. It can also lead to missed opportunities. Unplanned work can force you to miss windows of opportunity. It can also lead to burnout. The endless loop of just a little longer with no end in sight can lead to exhaustion. And lastly, scope creep. As deadlines shift, the project scope can extend, making it even harder to finish. So whenever you find yourself in a situation where you're always throwing more time at a task, you need to pause and give yourself a deadline, because that way you are able to time box and adjust the scope rather than adjusting the time. Okay? Now, here are 3 benefits of time boxing. Increased focus. Knowing you have a limited time window keeps you laser focused on the task at hand. Reduced procrastination. Breaking up tasks into smaller ones with deadlines helps you avoid putting things off. And lastly, realistic planning. Time boxing helps you estimate tasks' duration more accurately. So those are 3 benefits of time boxing: increased focus, reduced procrastination, and realistic planning. Now let's look at 3 steps to time boxing, or to doing it well, doing it properly. Firstly, you want to identify your time boxing candidates. Start with something small, like a new workout routine, your house chores, or even that book you've been meaning to write. You can even use this to tackle your worst time waster, like social media. I'm talking to myself here. Many phones have time limits for social media, but of course you have to be strict and not override them. Secondly, you want to define your objectives. What do you hope to achieve through time boxing? Is it meeting a deadline? Is it making progress on a challenging project? Or gaining momentum on a new venture? For example, if you want to write that book, your objective might be making daily progress. And thirdly, you want to find the right time box size. This is where setting a timer comes in. Consider the task scope and desired outcome. Remember, we want to fix the time and not the scope. In our book writing example, if you have 2 months to write, allocating 2 hours a day for writing might be a good time box to meet your deadline. Remember, there is no perfect time box size. It all depends on your goals and objectives. It may evolve as you track your progress and adjust your approach. Experiment and find what works best for you. Apart from time boxing, here are a few other tips for scheduling your calendar. Color code your calendar. I am a big fan of Google Calendar, and it lets you assign different colors to different type of tasks, giving you a visual overview of your schedule. This can also help you spot patterns and make sure you are balancing work, personal life, and breaks in between. You also want to utilize buffer times. We all know that life happens and sometimes things take longer than expected. We also have the unexpected emails, phone calls, or errands that can derail your schedule. Buffer time acts as a safety net, preventing your schedule from falling apart due to unforeseen circumstances. So to utilize buffer times, start by scheduling or blocking out 15 to 30 minutes buffer slots throughout your day, strategically placing them between activities. Clearly identify these slots as buffer time to differentiate them from dedicated work time. You can use your buffer time to catch up on urgent tasks or resolve unexpected issues, or maybe take a quick joy break. Remember our joy breaks from episode 1? Avoid overbooking. Resist the urge to fill every minute of your calendar, or avoid filling in your buffer times with additional tasks. It is there for a reason. Buffer time allows for flexibility and prevents burnout. Find what works best for your work style and adjust your calendar accordingly. By leveraging time blocking, color coding, and adding buffer times to your calendar, you are going to be creating a powerful system for peak productivity. And you will find that you will begin to achieve your goals with more focus and less stress. So what did you enjoy most from this episode? Please leave me a comment on whatever platform you're listening to this to let me know. Also, why not share this with a friend who needs to hear this episode? Can I also ask you to please rate the Get Productive with Detola podcast on your preferred platform? Your support will help reach a broader audience, spreading valuable content to those who need it. And so that you don't miss any further episodes, go to www.detola.com/podcast and subscribe now. I will add this to the show notes. Thank you again for your support. So that's all from me today. I appreciate you for joining me. Remember, when you schedule your time, you take control of your day, your to-do list, and your goals. Until next time, happy scheduling. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Get Productive podcast. Till next time, stay blessed.